Good morning, everyone. The time is now 10:10, and I will call today's meeting to order. I hope everyone's having a great day. First item on the agenda is the approval of consent agenda items from March 18th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
I second.
It's been properly moved and second. I will now call, I'm sorry, you want to call the roll?
Chair Barnes.
I vote aye.
Sorry, Chair Barnes voted aye. Commissioner Giraldo?
I vote aye.
Are we doing Commissioner Henderson today, or the new commissioner? Are we going to calling her? Okay. Commissioner Henderson? Jenkins, okay, sorry. Commissioner Jenkins? No. She's, okay. Commissioner Okoye?
Aye.
Okay. Vice Chair Harris?
Aye.
Commissioner Bartley? Okay. Commissioner Linden?
Aye.
Okay, you're muted, but I saw you say aye. And Commissioner Pettaween?
Aye.
Okay.
Hedrick.
Okay. Got it, thank you.
So, yeah, Commissioner Hedrick said aye. Okay.
Is that all of them?
Okay.
All right, next item on the agenda is item 2, approval of commission minutes from our open session on February 18th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Move
Motion to,
approval, Mr. Chair.
I second.
It's been properly moved and second. Joe, you want to call the roll?
Okay, Chair Barnes?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Okoye?
Aye.
Vice Chair Harris?
Aye.
Commissioner Bartley? See. Commissioner Hedrick?
Aye.
Commissioner Linden?
Aye.
And Commissioner Pettaween?
Aye.
Is that every? All right, let me know. All right, next up is item 3, general announcements. As we all know, this month is Women's History Month, and also be reminded that your financial disclosure filings are required. Committee board reports, you all should have received a packet within your binders on the Employment Retirement System Board of Trustees regular minutes, meetings from February 3rd. We will now go into a closed session pursuant to Maryland General Provision Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305. B9, a closed session is proposed to conduct collective bargaining, negotiation, or consider matters that are related to negotiations. The time is now 10:12. We will now go into a closed session.
We need a motion and a second and a vote.
Is there a motion to go into a closed session?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I second.
We have a first and a second. Chair Barnes?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Okoye?
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Harris?
Aye.
Commissioner Bartley? He must be absent. Commissioner Hedrick?
Aye.
Commissioner Linden?
Aye.
And Commissioner Pettaween?
Aye.
Okay.
And Joe, we have online now Commissioner Jenkins.
Oh, and Commissioner Jenkins, would you like to vote to go into closed session?
Aye.
Okay, I heard you.
All right. We will now move into a closed session. See you all in there. time is now 10:38. We are reconvened in open session. While in closed session, the commissioners approved the previous closed session minutes, and the acting director, executive director, briefed the commissioners regarding the status of collective bargaining. We will now go back to item 6, which is a presentation item from the recommendation for appointment or new investment manager for the employees retirement system, Ms. Harris.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Chairman Barnes. Included in your packet is a memo regarding the recommendation for the appointment of WCM Investment Management. The board met earlier this month and approved a $70 million investment in WCM's Focused International Equity Fund. This is an investment to coincide with the current manager and international equity manager within the portfolio, Ernest Partners, with a total target allocation for both managers being 11% of the total assets within the portfolio. If there's any questions regarding this recommendation for appointment, I'll take them at this time.
Are there any questions for Ms. Harris? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Yeah, this is Vice Chair Harris. Is a motion to approve the recommendation for appointment of the new investment managers for the employees' retirement system.
Second.
Joe, if you can call the roll.
Chair Barnes,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Jenkins.
I vote aye.
Got it. Commissioner Koye,
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Harris,
Aye.
Commissioner Hedrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Linden,
Aye.
Commissioner Pettaween.
Aye.
All right, thank you so much. We will now move on to the officers' report. First report is from our executive director that will speak on a diversity council membership and annual report. Mr. Thompson O'Sullivan.
Oh, Ms. Solomon.
Hello,
Miss.
Ashlyn Thompson. Yeah, we're both use Miss, but Ashlyn Thompson and I wasn't able to be here today, so I will be presenting for the council today. Just going to share quickly the presentation materials that we have for you all. Okay. So, is that appearing well for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect, thank you. So yes, thank you so much for having us. We're very excited to be sharing some of the information from 2025 from Diversity Council. As a reminder to those of you who are not familiar, you only hear from us once a year, what our mission and vision is. Our mission is to advise the Commission on developing and implementing a diversity policy framework that promotes an inclusive workplace, and to measure progress and ensure effective programming and services both internally and externally through a lens of diversity. Our vision is to promote behavior in the workplace that contributes to understanding, respecting, and valuing of all people. So this leads to our role and responsibility to empower and support diversity efforts, to educate and raise awareness, and to advocate for diversity priorities. And in order to fulfill this grand role, we really focused on action items that would create change and work towards being more inclusive as a commission. So one of our new focuses this past year was on language. I know, so I'm Rachel Solomon. I work for Montgomery Parks as our workforce diversity and outreach partner in our HR unit. So I can just speak from that perspective to say that I know that we have at least 20 employees who only speak Spanish, as well as we have employees who speak languages like like French and Haitian Creole. And so recognizing and making sure that we are including these employees was something that we wanted to do more intentionally in this last year. And so we translated the union bargaining agreement into Spanish, which a lot of our Spanish speakers work under the McGeo contract to support equitable communication. We also prepared for additional written and recorded video translation. I know in the works right now, we are planning to do an ethics training in Spanish that was done by Jessica Homer on our legal counsel to make sure that all of our employees have access to how to operate ethically within the workplace, as well as we printed Spanish language LGBTQ plus history brochures. I have an English copy in front of me. We're very proud of this. And that leads us to the LGBTQ plus focus. We received additional funding last year, for which we were very grateful, to try to attend World Pride. But due to the exorbitant amount they were asking for us to attend World Pride, even with that additional funding, we weren't able to attend. But we still wanted to honor the intention behind those funds given to us by making sure that we focused on that community and doing things that would be helpful. And one of the things that I'm most proud of around the LGBTQ plus history brochure, and you can find it easily on our website just by searching for that, is that we were able to work across departments. So every department had a role in putting this brochure together. And one of the joys of Diversity Council and one of its strengths is that it is a full commission council. And so we have representatives from every part of the commission. And this brochure was emblematic of that for me, where every department worked together to put this together and share information on Montgomery and Prince George's counties around our history, particularly the untold stories that often aren't recognized. We also supported LGBTQ plus Pride Month events, as well as more local Pride events that we were able to attend. Events is something that we were able to do a survey at the end of 2025 and learn what people appreciated. And I will say events was well up there. We supported LGBTQ plus Pride Month, Women's History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, ANHPI Heritage Month. So it's Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. Candle, which is a program, Cultural Allies Network for Diversity Learning Experiences that's run by Prince George's Parks and Recreation, Disability Pride Month, and our first ever Jewish American Heritage Month. And we supported these groups in different ways, whether it was by tabling or helping with planning, volunteering, providing funding. If we did provide funding, it would have to be a full commission event. So that's something else that we're seeing, is that as we do more support of these events that used to be just one county or the other are becoming commission wide, which is, I think, something that's really wonderful and enriching the commission and helping different counties see, how one county does things and interact with each other, which is really beautiful. So we're definitely all learning from each other. And then something else, 2025 was a challenging year around diversity. Definitely not running away from that. And so one of the main things that was important for us was communication. We had a lot of fear and a lot of confusion. And so we were doing our best in our role to, at the very least, make sure that folks had a place to get some clear information or to ask questions if they had any. We have a SharePoint site that houses key resources, an email contact and inquiry form, which were well used in 2025, as well as a sponsorship request process. And then if folks would write in and ask questions and have concerns, we would coordinate these responses and forward the relevant correspondence to the Corporate Human Resources for review and action. And so in this way, we were able to help better connect some of employees from all levels with leadership in a way that was conducive with helping folks in a time where they didn't really know necessarily what was going on. So I'm incredibly proud. And again, Ashlyn Thompson was our chair for 2025. She really was incredible in her grace and her composure during such a challenging time to make sure that these requests were being answered. We also created and distributed a monthly newsletter, which also due to our end of year report, I know was extremely popular as well, and is a great way for folks to learn about different cultural celebrations as well as events or programming that we were doing in the commission. We also developed cultural content for the newsletter, including the 2025 Cultural Observance Calendar, which again, at the end of year report, we were seeing a lot of folks really appreciated, and our main feedback was they wanted more, which is always a good sign. So just to honor our outgoing members, Samantha Hay, Frederick Johnson, Atara Margolis, and Alana Branda. They served from January 2024 to December 2025 and made a huge impact on who we are as the commission. This picture is just from our end of year meeting. And then our incoming members, who we're so excited to introduce, who started in January 2026, Natalia Gomez Rojas, Bhavna Sivasubramanian, Angelica Deras Penate, Hillary Covington, and Jason Bush. So with their energy, and they already have been contributing a lot of energy and a lot of new ideas into Diversity Council, I'm looking forward to a wonderful year. We also have some leadership roles, so I'm currently serving as chair of Diversity Council. Ashlyn Thompson, again, extremely grateful for the preparation she gave me, as well as her continued feedback, is outgoing chair. Our secretary is Ugona Njeze. Treasurer is Jessica Goss. Marketing lead Radhika Gore, and outreach liaison Shatima Abdul Malik. So with the creation of these roles, because this is also something relatively new, we know that different versions of Diversity Council have different versions of leadership roles. We are finding this to be extremely effective to be able to do more without burning anyone out, because none of us are in these roles as our primary positions. These are all volunteer things that we are passionate about and want to contribute to. Yes, thank you for the raised hand.
Director Stanton.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Solomon, for your presentation, and thank you for assuming the role as chair. Much success to you in this role, and anything that we can do to help you from our department, please let us know.
Thank you so much for your support.
Yes, ma'am. Question, I just regarding slide 4, which is 2025 highlights and new focuses. Is that report speaking to what you all focused on in 2025, or is it what you? Okay, and then when will you be developing your focuses for 2026, or has that already been developed?
Yeah, so these were the focuses for 2025 that we hadn't done in 2024. So they were new to 2025. And we are continuing following up on them. Like I said, we prepared for additional translation, and that's partially in encumbered funds. So we are still working with those funds towards that goal. In regards to this year, we have chosen at least one new focus. So as the year goes on, there might be additional new focuses, but one is accessibility. We are seeing, particularly with the law going into effect in April, that digital accessibility is something that is a major focus for the commission at this time, and we want to be there to support and make sure that that process goes as smoothly as possible. Many of the folks on Diversity Council were involved with what we called WCAG Week around digital access, and so that has been chosen kind of by what's going on right now, as well as something that we genuinely believe is important to focus on digital accessibility for 2026. But we are open to new focuses as well, of course.
All right, well, I think one of the things that we experienced doing an interview with a person who was hearing impaired, and he was just really impressed with the fact that we or so intentional about meeting his needs. And he said he had never come across an organization that was so prepared. Normally he'd had to coordinate and kind of work through all kinds of things to make sure that the interviews were conducted in a way that he could fully participate. And our team went to work on it. So I want to probably credit the Diversity Council for being a part of us getting to that point. Is there anything that we could do to support you that may have been barriers in the past that would help move your agendas forward?
Um, that's a wonderful question. I think for me that reaching staff is something that we are working towards, making sure that they're aware of Diversity Council and what we do and how they can reach out to us. And even within our end of year survey, that was one of our primary goals, was to figure out, is there awareness? And I'd say to some extent, but a lot of the answers were, I've heard of you, but not really sure what you do. And so if you would be willing to help us reach out to staff and make sure that we can make them aware and leadership aware that of who we are and what we do, particularly when there is confusion around what diversity means, and for us to share, no, we're doing actionable items that support staff. That's what Diversity Council really is, and that's what we do. We just focus on staff that might not be immediately included in the first wave. Staff who maybe historically have had to fight for what they need to make sure that they can have that without having to fight for it, like that beautiful example that you shared. That's who we are and what we do, and making sure that folks are aware we do action that we can track and that we can see, and that trying to demystify what Diversity Council is a goal for us this year.
Well, I definitely would love to be able to support in that fashion. There may be some opportunities for us to bundle some messages. And because we have such a large workforce, it can be a challenge to communicate, because we have the full time, then we have seasonals, careers and seasonals. So one of the things we're looking at doing is cascading our messaging so that when large groups of staff come together for all staff meetings or for other departmental events, or I should say divisional events, that we make sure that we have some messaging that we want to get out that may have been sent through email, may have been sent through newsletter or video, but everybody's not seeing it. So when we have these larger gatherings, so let's, have some further conversation, potentially invite you to one of our ELT meetings and, have for coordination with PACE, Public Affairs, so we can make sure that we get that messaging out, especially around the data and the value. I think people, once they know that the value and the things that are transpiring, that are making a difference, then it can become more relatable. So thank you for your work and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Ms. Solomon?
I'd just like to, Chair Barnes, just say also thank you to Ms. Solomon, your leadership, the past leadership, the current leadership, for moving forward the Diversity Council. As you mentioned, it's a popular council, so thank you. Generally, sometimes there are councils that aren't popular. I mean, there aren't people that are very committed to it, but your team is. I attended one of your events yesterday, for the Women's History Month event. It just was wonderful, where you guys had invited the Maryland Secretary of Planning, Rebecca Flora, which was just a wonderful event. It was attended by both sides of the commission, so thank you for that. And yes, I know you're not. I'm sorry. They said you're not finished, but I just wanted to just say how important this is, and it's the good question you asked, and Director Stanton's comment about how to help in getting the word out more, to show your good work and get more people participating. So thank you.
And I just want to clarify around the Women's History Month event. We didn't put on the event, so in that event, we just supported by tabling and being there in case anyone had questions. So there are different levels to support. Sometimes we try not to put on events due to capacity concerns. We are staff with all of our own work programs, but how can we support? So some of us are on the committees, some of us volunteer to help day of with the events, or will table or will provide funding. So there are different levels to how we do the event. So I will say I won't take credit for the planning of that event, though I really enjoyed it. That one we were more there in a tabling capacity.
Yeah, well, thanks for that clarification. That's also that reason, but that cascading, where you were there and people, you were present, and that was really important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there
Does
any other
anyone else have
questions
any
before she
questions?
proceeds? Then, Ms. Solomon, does that conclude your presentation, or is there more?
That does. So yeah, that worked out nicely. You asked questions right at the right time. That is all the information I had for you all today. Thank you so much for listening and for your support as we continue doing this important work.
Yes, ma'am. Keep up the great work, and we look forward to
Thank you
seeing
so
everything
much.
else. We will now move
Thank
on
you.
to your quarterly MFD purchasing status report should be in your packet, along with the quarterly budget transfer report also. We will now move on to the Secretary Treasurer's report on the annual comprehensive financial report for FY25. Mr. Cohen.
Thank you, Chairman Barnes, members of the Commission, Chair Harris, Secretary Treasurer Gavin Cohen for the record, Jason Lawrence and Chris Lehman, representing the auditors, will have a presentation for the Commission. Thank you. Jason?
Push the mic. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Again, Jason Lawrence, Deputy Finance Director, and I'm pleased to present to you the annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year 2025. This year's report was issued with an unmodified opinion, meaning our financial statements were clean. I want to give a big thank you to our accounting team led by Elaine Stuckey and Abby Rodman for their hard work on the financial report this year. Joining us today is Chris Lehman from SB & Company, which is our audit firm, and I'll turn it over to him to go into further detail, and we will be available for questions after his presentation.
Well, thank you for that introduction, and good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Lehman. I was the engagement partner over the financial statement audit services this year for the Commission. Can everyone hear me okay?
We hear you well.
Okay, great. And I'll walk through this rather briefly. So again, if there's questions at the end or as I go through this, either way, it would be great. So we've completed the audit of the June 30, 2025 financial statements for the Commission. The financial statements are also termed Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, or ACFR. That includes not only the basic financial statements, but the introductory and their statistical information that goes along with those basic financial statements. So we've reviewed that entire document as part of our audit. Also, I've included any recommendations and observations that we've made during the audit process, and then we also are available for year-round consultation on accounting or accounting matters. So as was mentioned, we did issue an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, and that would be the best opinion we could give under professional standards. Our audit was not a forensic audit, but we are required to have a healthy skepticism that fraud could happen at any time. But we did not discover any fraud during any of our audit procedures. We had no material weaknesses that we've identified. We did identify one deficiency back in the fiscal year 2023 audit related to construction in progress, and I have a slide that'll summarize that recommendation, but we still see some opportunity for improvement to be implemented there. We received the full cooperation from management, so any records that we asked for, we obtained adequate support for those transactions. Any questions that we had, we obtained answers to our questions. We did not propose any audit journal entries, so that just speaks to the quality of the books that we were given or that we were auditing, and it's not like it took a bunch of year-end cleanup or journal entries to present the information accurately. We were given materially correct information for audit purposes. This here is just a picture of our risk-based audit approach, and really the audit's designed to be a funnel, and we're funneling out the risk of errors or the risk of process breakdowns really going through the audit. And I have a couple slides coming up that'll focus really on that second phase, and that's the assess and test the design and the operation of internal controls. So for example, looking at how timesheets are authorized by the appropriate person, employees being paid at the correct and authorized rates, would just be two, small examples of testing the design and operation of an internal control. And before we get into the specific controls, we assess the commission at what we call the control environment level. And there's 5 interrelated components for there to be an effective environment. And 3 are on this slide and 2 will be on the next slide. But for there to be an effective overall environment, we consider the control environment of the commission's risk assessment processes, the specific control activities, like I mentioned, the authorization of a timesheet or the authorization of a pay rate would be an example of an activity. Then the last 2 being the information and communication, and then the ongoing monitoring of controls. And we've concluded that there was an effective environment for the period under audit. And then taking that to the next step with the key processes, we've tested both the design and the operation of these processes. So that's Treasury, that's predominantly looking at bank statements and reconciliations. Is management able to identify outstanding activity properly? Are investment reconciliations being performed accurately and timely? There's certain estimates within the financial statements. A lot of the estimates are actuarially driven because there's OPEB and pension assumptions within the financial statements. Another estimate, for example, would be the useful lives of a fixed asset. So when a capital asset is placed into service, that asset is depreciated over its estimated service life. We also assess the financial reporting cycle, the expenditure cycle. Continuing on to this slide, payroll, as I gave a couple examples a bit ago, revenue, fixed assets, and then IT or information technology as it relates to the accounting software. Who has access to it? Is it being backed up? But really looking at IT from a general ledger and accounting software perspective. And we identified, as I mentioned earlier, we had no material weaknesses that we identified in any of our processes. All these processes were both designed and operating effectively. Aside just from our recommendation for construction in progress, there's a fairly healthy construction in progress balance sitting on the entity-wide financial statements. There's roughly $322 million of CIP, and we're not questioning the validity of the cost. It's just we see some CIP sitting on the books for a number of years, and that just increases the risk that should be placed into service and begin being depreciated, and that just has some risk that the depreciation could be understated on the entity-wide financial statements. And then here, this is just really the summary of net position. I know it's small and it's summarized. This is taken right out of that annual comprehensive financial report, as I mentioned at the beginning. This is the balance sheet, for lack of better term, but this includes really entity-wide. So it's going to include not only the general fund, the capital project funds, which are included in governmental activities. This includes all long-lived assets, meaning fixed assets. It includes, in the long-term liabilities, includes outstanding debt and includes pension and OPEB liabilities. And then in the business type activities, that's primarily the Wheaton headquarters activity. There's recreation and cultural activities that charges for services are the primary driver of the revenue in the business type activities. So all in, you'll see the total assets for the commission at the end of fiscal year 2025 was just under $2.4 billion. That's against total liabilities of roughly $938 million, which leaves an all-in net position. If you take assets minus liabilities, that residual net position is roughly almost $1.55 billion, and that's up slightly from the previous year, where at the end of 2024, the net position was just slightly above $1.5 billion. So there was an increase in the commission's net position for fiscal year 2025. Any questions so far? And then on this slide here, this shows the revenue and the expense activity. So it will show the makeup of that increase in net position. So again, similar columns to the left here, but the commission's all-in revenue for the fiscal year was at $692 million, with expenses at $650 million, and that leads to an all-in increase in net position of roughly $41 million for the fiscal year. And then lastly, I hit on some of these points as I went through my slides. You know, had we had audit adjustments, I'd be required to bring that to the commissioner's attention. Had we found instances of fraud, I'd be required to bring that to your attention. Had we had disagreements with management, which we had none, really there's no negative items I need to bring to your attention through the completion of the audit process. The idea being was we could have issued a clean opinion, but if we had lots of issues or adjustments or things of that nature, you wouldn't really know that just from reading the opinion. So really like I said, there's nothing, no red flags or anything I would term negative that I need to bring to the commissioner's attention through our audit process. And then lastly, I just have my contact information here if there's questions, you know, outside of audit season. I make myself available not only to management, but to the commissioners as well.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
I have
Seeing none.
none.
Seeing none, thank you so much for your presentation.
But there was one question.
Oh, it's one. Mr. Stanton.
Salimi, thanks so much for your report. As a new director, I'd love to sit down and just kind of go through it more thoroughly so I can understand along with our finance team so we can just be abreast of anything that we need to be concerned with. Looking forward to just, you know, as a matter of being financially prudent.
Okay. Yeah, and if you'd like me to sit in on that or you'd want to meet one-on-one, just whatever works for you.
Excellent. I'll have my office reach out to you so we can schedule it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Once again, thank you so much for your presentation. We will now go into the general counsel. You all should have received in your package the litigation and administration hearing reports. And Mr. Annington, is there any legislative updates?
Good morning, Chair Barnes, Commissioners. Wes Annington, Deputy General Counsel for the record. At this point, I do not have any legislative updates for the full commission, but Jordan Balcom Colbert will be providing relevant updates to each planning board at their respective meetings tomorrow. And the litigation report is standard and it's for your information. But if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to field those offline.
Thank you. I think there are a couple of hands raised. Commissioner Linden.
Thanks, Chair. And yeah, thanks, Wes. I imagine we may talk about this more tomorrow at our respective board meetings. But I was wondering if today, is there any update on the Senate Bill 1005 that we first talked about last week as a group? And just as a reminder, this is the bill that is proposing significant changes to the full commission structure, dividing responsibilities, and making pretty substantial changes proposed very late in the legislative session process. So from general counsel, I was wondering, are you aware of any updates in the Rules Committee where it's currently sitting? Have we had conversations with respective delegations about kind of where things stand from their standpoint?
Thank you for your question, Commissioner Linden. No real updates other than that the bill currently still does reside within the Rules Committee. Jordan has been working with our lobbyist, Manis Canning, on the issue and has been in contact with delegation about it. But right now, there has been no new movement per se. but she will be able to provide more updates tomorrow at your respective planning board meetings. But again, I at this point, I don't believe she's going to have any more information than that at this point. Now, obviously, the day is still young, so she may get more information throughout the course of today. But if she does, she will definitely provide that tomorrow. I know that's not the most robust answer that you're looking for at this point, Commissioner Linden, but that is what I can provide you at this point.
No, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing what you feel like you can. As you know, others may know, the Montgomery County Planning Board last week took a vote to oppose this bill. And I'm not sure if there's been any votes or discussion on the Prince George's Planning Board side of things. I'd be curious for an update there. But considering that this is the full commission meeting and we just do it monthly, so we're likely not going to meet again until this kind of progresses much further or doesn't. I'd be interested in exploring the opportunity to make a full commission vote today to oppose this bill. Have needed discussion if we need to have the discussion. But I'd be interested in how others feel about that and potentially making a motion to oppose it.
Yeah, Prince George's County has not taken up this bill as of yet. We will be hearing it tomorrow in closed session to go over the bill and provide any updates at that time.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Chair. I appreciate that update. I'd like to hear from Chair Harris as well. I see Commissioner Hedrick has his hand up. But I think this is a good opportunity for us to have the discussion that we need to have. I don't think we necessarily need to go into closed session for that. If you feel like your board does, then that's a fair position to take. But since we are in open session right now as a full group, I'd like to at least consider making a motion to oppose and have needed discussion that we need to have. But I think this is a good opportunity to take that step.
Yeah, I would not recommend making a motion or a vote on that simply because we have one new commissioner in Brittany Jenkins who has not seen the bill, nor has Commissioner Giraldo or Okoye have gone through that bill extensively. So we will, I would like to pay deference to Prince George's County and give us an opportunity to review this bill and make any recommendations. Should we need to call an emergency meeting for a vote or discussion, we can do so after our meeting on tomorrow.
Okay. Well, just real quick, and then I don't want to take up too much time. I can see Commissioner Mitra or Commissioner Pettigrew, I'm sorry, has your hand up too. Perhaps General Counsel or Wes, your team. I mean, if you're able to provide an update, for the benefit of Commissioner Jenkins as well, just to kind of bring her up to speed with where this stands. I think that, again, this is a good opportunity to do that. I'd like to have more discussion about this openly in open session here and answer questions as they come up. I understand your point about the need for you all to discuss as a group too, but we're together today, and so I think it's still worth having the discussion today.
Sure.
But I'll pass it on to Commissioner Hedrick.
I would once again give Prince George's County the opportunity to review this and discuss this amongst our commissioners. And that way we can make an informed and intelligent decision on which way we want to go. We just had another commissioner sworn in today to allow that individual also the due process to be able to meet amongst our commissioners to go over this bill before we make any decision.
I'm just simply asking for an update from General Counsel and more discussion today in open session. So, if we're able to sort of provide, for Commissioner Jenkins at least, since she's with us today, kind of what the bill is talking about, what it does, what it's proposing to do, and certainly the consequences that the full commission will feel. I think it's worth talking about that today. And I'd love for kind of a detailed overview to the extent that we can from the General Counsel team.
I know I'm talking out of turn. James is in front of me, but one concern that I have, and I support, Commissioner Linden, is that we are having, for Prince George's, most of the commissioners are new. And this is what happened to us when we got together and reassigned 5 years ago. Everybody was new to the commission. And I was the only one that had the historical understanding of the commission and how the commission works. And I understand what the Chair Barnes is talking about, that we have 2 new commissioners coming. But if you look at it, 4 out of 5 of the commissioners from the Prince George's County are new, except Chair Barnes that has been here 8 months. But still, it's not enough to understand that how this bill can impact 5,000 of, active employees and also retirees of the commission, that how it could drastically impact not only the employees and also every residence in both counties, in both Montgomery County and Prince George's County. This is not something to be taken lightly. And I understand that you have 2 new commissioners that are coming in, and but how much can they know about the commission to be able to vote yay or nay in 2 weeks or in 1 week? That they understand. That is extremely concerning for me, that how it is. And it has to be given a lot of thought if anyone wants to go and support this bill. I just don't see, because it needs a lot to understand the commission and the impact and everything. So I don't take that lightly at all.
And once
I'm
again,
sorry, James, I talk ahead of you. I apologize.
and once again,
No need, Madam
I would defer to Prince George's County to allow us the opportunity to deliberate as a commission in Prince George's County to go over this bill. To your point,
Respect.
Commissioner, having a vote when they have not had an opportunity to go over the bill, I think is not a fair deference to them or the process. So I think if you want to talk about the bill today, absolutely, we can do that. But to hold the vote without giving them the opportunity for us to huddle up as a group to go over and debate things up or down, I think is setting a bad precedence on how we should do things as a commission. Once again, as the chairman of this commission, I am saying that I am open for having conversation, but we will not take a vote today.
Yeah, so.
Respectfully, you've, if I might, had my hand up waiting for a while. Respectfully, Montgomery County's planning board was able to take a vote on this last week, and the PG County board and the PG County Planning Commission has had the same information for the same amount of time that the Montgomery County Planning Board has. And I think that that's a reasonable enough time to make a decision, or to have a decision for the full commission and to take a vote in full commission. That's what we're here for. I understand we have a new commissioner in today that's here with us. It's perfectly acceptable to abstain on a vote if you don't feel that you have enough information. But I believe the existing commissioners, the ones that have been on, have had a full amount of time to observe this and, formulate an opinion on it. And I'm still, I would love to hear from General Counsel. I'd love to hear some discussion of it. But I don't think that it's reasonable not to move for the full commission to vote to oppose the SB 1005 at this time.
Yeah, can I? Well, you have.
I think Commissioner Okoye had his hand up.
Okay, so respectfully, I like to support the chairman on this because yes, I'm up until this morning, the newest commissioner, and it's quite unfair to have me make a decision on a bill that we haven't had enough time to. And my question is, what is the rush? What is the rush in trying to make a decision real quickly? We do have two new commissioners, and today is her first time, Ms. Brittany Jenkins. Welcome to the commission. And I don't see the last person that just got appointed this morning at 9 a.m. I'm not sure that a commissioner is here. I do think that it's very unfair to be making a request of such. It's
May
very,
I,
very unfair.
Commissioner, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Ed.
What
I
is
just
it?
wanted to
I was,
just quickly say, Commissioner Okoye, I take your point that certain decisions need careful consideration. To your question about why the rush, we're responding to the legislative session calendar, and this is in the Rules Committee in the Senate, and the Rules Committee is where bills often go to get expedited through session. So it's not cross-filed currently, which means that it's not in the House and the Senate. So it needs to go to the Rules Committee within the Senate to get expedited, because we're very close to crossover day, which is, so if it doesn't meet crossover day because it's not cross-filed, the Rules Committee is the way to sort of preempt that process and still move it forward. So from what we can tell, the authors of the bill want this to move fast, which means that unfortunately we have to have quick conversations, careful conversations. But the legislative session dictates the speed at which we need to respond to this. So I fully support everything that you and Chair are saying. You need to have discussions, absolutely. We are currently sitting here as a full group, and this is a great opportunity to have a full discussion about it. I'd love to hear how Chair Barnes thinks about this bill as well, since he probably more than the other people in this room have had a chance to review it and see it and sit with it. So I'd love to hear his thoughts on the bill. I understand that Commissioner Jenkins, also welcome. Sorry, I didn't say that before. Welcome. But I understand that this is your first time seeing it, Commissioner Okoye. You've had it. We have had the bill for over a week now, so we have internally as a group reviewed it. Now, obviously, we're all busy people. I understand that you may not have time kind of on your end to carefully review it too, but that's why I'd love to hear from General Counsel right now for their assessment of what the bill does. We can ask questions as needed, and I'd like to kind of have an open discussion since we do have time left in this meeting today. We're a little bit ahead of schedule. And then again, I'd like to hear from Chair Barnes kind of how he thinks about this bill.
Yeah, let me weigh in here. I do agree that it's important that the Prince George's Planning Board make a statement about this bill, and I would recommend, Chair Barnes, that after your or during your meeting tomorrow, that you guys come out with a statement. This is Mr. Okoye, Commissioner Okoye, yep, as Commissioner Linden said, and during the legislative season, everything moves very quickly, right? You have to respond. That's why when every meeting we've been having on our board, and I think your board, you've been going over legislative items, right? Because they move so quickly. And if they don't have your thoughts, then they will move along without your thoughts. So that's why it's been so important to respond as quickly as possible, and why we had to respond last week as quickly as possible in order to not get it out of the Rules Committee, right? This is a major bill that would affect the commission in a major way. So I would recommend that, yes, that we have a discussion so that the new, like Ms. Jenkins, Commissioner Jenkins and others get an understanding of what the bill is all about and how it potentially affects the commission. And I'm okay with, personally okay with the Prince George's Board meeting tomorrow, but I think it's important. It is very important that you come out with a statement so we know where we stand as a commission, okay? Or where
Why can't Mr. Barnes
Well, let me
express
just
his
say that I am the only
opposition
one that
today?
has served in the Maryland General Assembly. And understanding how the process works, right now the bill is still stuck in rules, which means that the bill has not even come out of rules for a vote. The Prince George's County Senate delegation met and they voted on the bill. to support the bill as written. Montgomery County Senate delegation has not taken a vote or made a decision on that bill. The bill hasn't come out of Senate. Crossover for Senate bills to go over to the House is on March 23rd, which means the bill has not moved or has been moved across into the House. Once again, even though that Montgomery County has made a decision, Prince George's County will be meeting as a planning board tomorrow. After our meeting tomorrow to go over, deliberate, discuss the bill, we will come out of that bill, out of that meeting with a decision from Prince George's County.
And you are not able to express your opinion and
Once I meet with my
understanding and
board
your
on
position
tomorrow,
as a
we will come
person.
out of that meeting with a discussion, with a decision.
I find it,
For me,
I
it's
do want to
very
make sure that,
strange. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. For me, it's very
no,
strange that such a thing needs so much discussion. I understand, but I don't see that
No, we're
there is
discussing our
more
meeting is
understanding.
tomorrow.
Go ahead,
We're discussing less than 24 hours.
James, go ahead.
yeah, I find it interesting with the chair's knowledge of the state legislature and the General Assembly that there's not more movement on this and that there's not more momentum. I think that with someone that has served in the General Assembly, they would understand the urgency of this and this issue and making sure that we present a united front as the commission. If the Prince George's County opposing this bill, that's fine. I do think that the arguments that you have not had enough time to review it ring a bit hollow, quite honestly. And we do have a sense of urgency here, and there should be some urgency. And I think that it's very clear. I tend to agree with Commissioner Pettowing that this is not a hard one to understand. And
I
so I
have
would
a
like to hear from the
tendency
General
to
Counsel and
agree
have more
with
data.
Commissioner Corrier that we need till tomorrow to make an informed
I-
decision on the bill.
Mhm.
So,
I don't think
listen,
that
we
that's,
can
I
go
don't-
back and forth all
Mm.
day on
Yeah.
everybody's position. But I think where we are right now, Prince George's County Planning Board will be meeting on this bill or this topic tomorrow. After our meeting tomorrow, we will come out of that meeting with a decision whether we oppose or support the bill.
Okay, well, I would
hope
still like to
it's
hear from
not
General Counsel on
political.
this. Mhm.
Yeah, I hope it's not political or personal, and it is for the best of the commission staff, commission retirees, and also the residents in both Montgomery County and Prince George's County. This has to be the first thing come. And if you want to get the commissioners, they have to understand. And I'm asking Ms. Jenkins that she's here. I do not know you, unfortunately, but I'm hoping that you don't take that lightly. This bill is very harmful to commission staff and the residents of both counties. And I do not know that how much you need to learn and understand about the commission until you feel comfortable to vote on this position. And the same for the, Lori, Matthews, that is going to come tomorrow and join. It's very unfair to ask this for two new members to weigh on this. Very unfair.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
listen, I
And I
think
think
once
it's
again,
perfectly
to be very
acceptable.
clear, it is the position of Prince George's County that we will meet tomorrow and with the understanding, the impact and the significance of this bill. And we will meet tomorrow and we will make an intelligent decision whether we oppose or support the bill. Mr.
Respectfully,
So
Corrier.
for today, would
Mhm.
we be able to hear from General Counsel just for kind of a synopsis of what the bill does?
Sure. Mr. Corrier, I think
Thank
you
you.
had your hand up.
Well, I had my hand on and I was just trying to plead with the commission that the more we talk about this, I don't know, it's beginning to sound like we're soliciting opinions and trying to affect on how people see this bill. Can we just allow the new commissioners to review this? Can we allow the next 24 hours? I don't see the
I would
harm in this with the information that we just got from the General Assembly. I do not see 24 hours to be a harm to the entire commission.
Are we in the afternoon yet? Nope, still morning. Good morning. Again, this is Wes Anneton, Deputy General Counsel for the record. I am happy to go, per the request of Commissioner Linden and Commissioner Hendrick, to give just a basic synopsis of SB 1005, but I do want to make sure that everybody's had their questions and want to make sure that that is okay from Chair Barnes.
Yes, you may proceed.
Commissioner Hendrick, did you want to ask your question before I give the...
No, I'll let the briefing continue. I
Please
just
leave your
would
message
say,
for 24022292485.
it's going to be a very interesting voicemail message that person's going to receive. No, I appreciate the concerns of the PG County commissioners. I really do. But I don't think they're convincing. And I have to say that if any commissioner feels as if the last week plus hasn't been enough time to review a bill that we've received that is this urgent and this impactful to council, they are more than welcome to abstain from a vote if we call such a vote.
Commissioner
So I
Hendrick.
would move.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
Commissioner,
let Wes go ahead.
Commissioner Hedrick, yeah, let's let Mr. Aniston
Certainly.
review this. Okay,
So
thank you.
the bill would have significant impacts on the operations of the commission. First and foremost, it does speak directly to the Office of the General Counsel. It would remove the requirement of the full commission to appoint the General Counsel and would divest that to each respective planning board. So Montgomery County Planning Board would appoint its own legal counsel, and the Prince George's County Planning Board would appoint its own legal counsel. Neither would be merit. They would both serve at the pleasure of each respective planning board, which is a significant, which would have a significant impact on not only commission operations but also OGC operations. As far as legal representation for the full commission, this bill proposes that the full commission would then appoint between those two counsel who would represent the commission for full commission matters. So that's the basic synopsis of the bill as it pertains to OGC. As it pertains to human resources and IT department, it proposes something similar. It proposes having each respective planning board have full control, full direct authority over human resources and IT, which effectively removes the authority and direction of central administrative services, which again, and I'm making sure I stay in my lane given the discussion that's been going on today amongst the full commission. Yes, that would have significant, I mean, I have to say it would have significant operational and fiscal impacts on the commission, which is what I believe Chair Barnes is going to be speaking with tomorrow amongst his commissioners respectively, in which the Montgomery County Planning Board has already discussed, and they have, I mean, obviously Commissioner Hendricks, Commissioner Linden, your group has already seen the operational, logistical, and financial impacts that it could potentially have. So again, it would effectively split CAS.
Thanks, Wes. Yeah, I think, from our perspective, we are extremely concerned on several levels. I think that splitting general counsel into both sides, it significantly reduces kind of the level of independence that general counsel would have. As Wes described, they would be appointed solely at the discretion of each county's planning board, report solely to that planning board. The general counsel, as Wes and others on that team certainly know better than we do, and I think they can talk a little bit more intelligently than I can about it. But their office really benefits from the independence that the current structure provides, which then flows down to benefit the entire commission through the kind of the integrity of their legal advice, their ability to exercise their judgment fairly outside of any pressure or influence. So I think that that's a really important piece of this from the general counsel side. And, so that's one, piece of the bill that Wes was describing. Our other kind of big concern when it comes to splitting up central administrative services is right now the full commission in both counties benefits a lot from the efficiencies that shared structure provides. So if we split it apart, we're really duplicating efforts across every single level of administration and function, which would add, just speaking on Montgomery County side, it would minimum add millions of dollars to our annual budget request in a time where budgets are extremely tight. I think that's probably the case on both sides of the commission right now, but just we can speak more directly to it from the Montgomery County side. Every year we're having to fight very hard just to maintain a base budget. And every year, right now, at least on the Montgomery County side, certain decisions need to be made with council and the executive to make sure that we can at least satisfy the base budget. That often means tax increases, proposed tax increases. It means cuts in other areas, which says nothing. So, our ability to sort of reach beyond and propose bold programs that go beyond base budget right now is limited just given economic conditions in the county. And the situation with our tax base. And so having to add millions of dollars of operational administrative costs every year on top of what we already ask for is an enormous lift. So that's kind of a second piece. And the third piece is how this would affect staff and retirees, as Commissioner Penweem has talked about and alluded to. We have pensions, we have retirement funds, we have benefit funds that we sit on those respective boards, or at least some of us sit on those respective boards to manage those funds. Understanding how to untangle those funds if the commission administratively is split is a task that requires much longer than 2 or 3 weeks of expedited conversation around this bill. It is so much more complicated than this bill is pretending like it is to simply split these functions. Thousands of retirees depend on these funds today, and they will continue to depend on these funds in the future. And it's not fair to them. We have a fiduciary responsibility and a moral responsibility to them to make sure that their money that they've invested over many years is taken care of smartly, carefully, and kind of outside of these kind of daily or weekly disagreements or political shifts that we may be experiencing. So we have a responsibility to them to make sure that this conversation, if it does move forward, is done carefully and not on an expedited time frame to meet the session schedule, the legislative session schedule. So there's many layers of concern, and I think that if the conversation needs to be had, then we can have it, but this is not the way to do it. This bill is certainly not the way to do it. There were no conversations about it with us before it was proposed. There have been no conversations with us since it's been proposed, and the clock on session is ticking. It was intentionally done through Rules Committee. I think we have to understand that. They chose Rules Committee for a reason to expedite it. So my personal position is
Excuse me.
huge mistake.
It's unkosher.
Yeah, so one,
It's no
It's one person, you
transparency.
do not have the floor, Commissioner. Thank you. Commissioner
Yeah, I
Linden.
understand.
I'm all wrapped. Thanks,
Okay.
Commissioner Penway.
yeah, so, yeah, let me just say this. Commissioner Linden, all the points you made were spot on, and as you said, if there were some questions about different operations in the commission in a different setting, we'd be open to having them. So the chair, Barnes, said that they would have their discussions tomorrow in their meeting and make a decision. I appreciate, Mr. Lynn, what you said, and I think we should move forward from that. Okay.
The time is now 11:43. I will now close today's meeting. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I motion that we close today's meeting.
I second that motion.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. The ayes have it.
Aye.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Okay.